Why do the most gifted souls seem destined to be born into the epicenter of pain, into families that resemble battlefields more than peaceful havens? Why are you, the one who sees beyond the veil of the mundane, who feels depths inaccessible to others, the black sheep, the eternal outsider, misunderstood and often turned into the emotional scapegoat in your own home? Your pain is not a curse, but a deliberate preparation. The great Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers in psychology and spirituality, firmly believed that each of us comes into this universe carrying a spark of potential for individuation, the process of becoming our most true, whole, and authentic self. But there's a profound truth rarely spoken aloud. For the chosen, for souls who came here with a grand purpose, to elevate collective consciousness, your transformation begins precisely in the heart of dysfunction. It's no accident that your cradle was not a sanctuary, but rather a war zone, permeated by tension and chaos. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Yet, here's the paradox. Your true self does not blossom in comfort. It is forged, tempered, and revealed in the crucible of chaos and trials. When your childhood was steeped in the poison of emotional manipulation, suffocating control, bitter rejection, or icy neglect, you were forced to seek love and support from a source transcending the earthly. You were compelled to turn to something higher. Your true source of strength is not found in your family. It extends far deeper, encompassing something unimaginably vast. It is the primordial essence itself, which some call God, others the boundless universe, and still others their own higher self. Toxic family ties often become your harsh initiation, a true training ground for the soul. They don't create your unique gifts, but they serve as the relentless environment that sharpens each one to perfection. The incessant pressure to prove your worth, the chaotic emotional unpredictability, the merciless invalidation of your truth, all of it relentlessly pushes you deep within yourself to the only unshakable refuge, your sacred connection to the divine. This is why the black sheep always turns out to be the most spiritually powerful. You don't just see the world differently. You feel and experience what others prefer to close their eyes to, what they are afraid to confront head-on. And while those around you are immersed in their illusory sleep, you were forced to awaken long before them. You had to learn love through its agonizing contrast, to master empathy to perfection, because you knew the abyss of cruelty. This is not just a beautiful metaphor. It is a profound psychological truth. Carl Jung asserted that the shadow, that unconscious, tormented part of our psyche, must be brought into the light for true transformation to occur. You came into this world through darkness, not to dissolve into it, but to comprehend it, to pass through it, and finally to transmute it into invaluable wisdom. When you come from a family where you are systematically gaslighted, where your thoughts are controlled, where every spark of your intuition is ridiculed, or your deepest emotional needs are ruthlessly ignored, they have no idea that they are actually forging something indestructible, your absolute spiritual immunity. You don't just learn. You liberate yourself from the need for external approval. You gain the ability to hear your inner voice, pure and clear, silencing any external noise. You stand unshakable, even when the world around you tries to break and diminish you. And here, a great spiritual turning point occurs. This challenging environment was necessary for you because your soul did not come into this world for ease. It came for mastery, to become exactly the person you are meant to be in this life, to unlock and fully give your unique gifts to the universe. From a young age, you had to master the art of standing in your truth, even when it met with universal disapproval. You learned to guard your inner peace amidst raging chaos. You gained invaluable freedom from others' judgments and opinions. For the spotlight will never truly feel safe until you learn to confidently and brightly bloom even in the deepest shadow. Let's call things by their names, without embellishment. Some families are not safe havens. They are more like spiritual prisons. If, from childhood, you felt like an outsider, were constantly misunderstood, shamed for being too much or too different, or emotionally punished simply for daring to express your truth, know this: you are not alone, and you are not cursed. On the contrary, you are chosen. But the path of the chosen does not begin in the brilliance of light. It is forged in deep shadow, and this shadow, alas, often wears the most familiar faces, the faces of those closest to you. When the great Carl Jung delved into the study of the human psyche, he asserted that the family is the primary environment, the cradle that shapes our soul. And while for many, family is associated with warmth and closeness, Jung warned that unresolved intergenerational traumas give rise to what he called complexes, deep emotional wounds that invisibly but powerfully dictate our behavior from the depths of the unconscious. It is you, the chosen one, who came into the world directly into the epicenter of this raging storm. A toxic family system is not an accident. It is your karmic lesson, your spiritual university. You incarnated into an environment that would test every fiber of your being, not to break you, but to awaken you. When love becomes merely a transaction, when your sincere emotions are invalidated, when you are punished for existing as your authentic self, all of this pushes you towards an early, deep spiritual awareness. And this happens not because you are weak, but because your soul, with unyielding determination, whispered, "I am ready." Ready to recognize your true worth without waiting for external applause. Ready to find unshakable inner support without seeking approval from outside. Ready to shed the shackles of ancestral patterns, those invisible threads deeply woven into your family history. As Jung taught, the path to true wholeness lies through a courageous confrontation with one's own shadow, those rejected parts of ourselves and society that hide in the depths. Your soul chose a family where this shadow reigned supreme. This was not a mistake of fate. This was your great destiny. At the heart of every dysfunctional family, there is always a scapegoat. This is the one who dares not to conform, who dares to question everything, who is constantly labeled dramatic, selfish, crazy, unbearable. The irony is that often, this person turns out to be the most spiritually mature and sensitive of all. You did not come into this world to feed family dysfunction. Your birth is a call to break its vicious cycle. This breaking will not manifest in loud shouts or public scandals. It will appear in a quiet but unyielding refusal to betray yourself, even if the price is the severance of deep ties. It looks like bitter tears shed in solitude after another round of gaslighting, yet an unshakable decision to continue trusting your inner voice. It looks like courageously healing the wounds that were imposed upon you, but which you carry with dignity so that this cycle of pain stops with you, not passing on further. Being the black sheep is agonizingly painful, yes, but in this pain lies something sacred, for only those who dare to step outside the system can truly see it, and only those who have seen it clearly can begin to change it. Toxic families don't just ignore emotional needs. They instill self-neglect, shaping you into specific roles: the eternal caregiver, the tireless achiever, or the invisible one. They generously reward the betrayal of your true essence and mercilessly punish its expression. But beneath this oppressive surface, a profound alchemy begins. Each time love is withheld, each time you, despite fear, voice your opinion, you begin to value authenticity above any approval. Each time suffocating control masquerades as protection, you learn to reclaim your sovereignty. Each time tenderness is denied, you become an inexhaustible source of your own tenderness. This is not to glorify suffering, but to honor its sacred function. These wounds do not break you. They awaken you. They tear you from the bonds of conditional love and push you towards an unconditional alignment with the primordial essence, with your soul, with something immeasurably deeper than this universe could ever show you. The truth is profound and piercing. Your family was your first, harshest spiritual battlefield. Just as true warriors hone their skills not on serene meadows, but in the crucible of trials, your soul did not choose to incarnate where everything would be easy. You consciously chose intensity. You embraced distortions. You chose these reflections, sometimes painful, sometimes distorted, so that they, like merciless mirrors, would clearly show you what you are not, and thereby help you remember what you truly are. You are the embodiment of pure love, not the chains of control. You are radiant truth, not the whisper of manipulation. You are an unbreakable connection, not a heavy burden of guilt. This is your sacred ritual, your initiation into a new life. And while many mindlessly follow in the footsteps of family scripts, doomed to repeat them generation after generation, you have become the one who, with unyielding resolve, proclaimed, "I've had enough. This cycle ends with me." In this lies both the great cost and the priceless privilege of the chosen path. Now, let's look at what happens when your inner light, like a mighty sprout, begins to break through the layers of illusion. For the bitter, yet inevitable truth is this: when you begin to ascend, a toxic environment rarely greets you with jubilation. On the contrary, they unleash a barrage of criticism, biting ridicule, skillful manipulation, and sometimes, far worse, desperately try to drag you back into the very chaos from which you are so painstakingly escaping. The reason is simple and ruthless. Your growth becomes a direct threat to their carefully constructed illusions. Your healing shatters their familiar comfort zone. Your newfound clarity mercilessly exposes what they themselves have not yet dared to confront within themselves. This is no longer just a choice. It is a vital necessity. Your purpose here is not to earn anyone's approval. You are here to inextricably connect with your primordial essence, with the very heart of who you are. When you maintain your inner frequency unwavering and high, no storm, however fierce in the outer world, can shake you or lead you astray from your true path. So, how do you protect your light when you still live among those who are unable to understand your path, who throw criticism your way, ridicule your beliefs, or seek to control your energy? Here are 3 powerful spiritual tools. These tools don't just comfort, they transform your very essence. Let's start with one of the most powerful tools you can always carry with you, wherever you go: the spiritual umbilical cord. Visualize a radiant, pulsating cord of pure light extending from your navel straight upwards into the boundless, shining sky, reaching the very heart of the primordial essence, the source of all being. This is not an abstract, vague notion of God. This is a living, tangible connection to limitless, unconditional love, all-encompassing wisdom, and inexhaustible power. This cord is your personal, divine lifeline, your never-ending power source. It nourishes you with everything the world around you cannot give, no matter how hard it tries. In those moments when you feel depleted, judged, invisible, and forgotten, immediately return to this vivid image. Feel how pure, healing light begins to flow, like a river, directly into your body, filling every cell. How power and an unshakable force infuse your bones, making you steadfast. How a deep, serene peace spreads through your heart, calming all anxieties. How crystal clarity fills your mind, dispelling doubts and fog. Allow this unseen source to nourish your soul when human love seems insufficient or entirely absent. Remember, you are never truly alone or disconnected. You just need to rediscover the path to this inner connection, to remember how to return to it. And this is not merely poetic metaphor. Your nervous system, that amazing mechanism, responds to every belief and every movement of your imagination. When you deeply believe that you are protected and supported by something immeasurably greater than yourself, your body literally relaxes, calms down, and comes into harmony. In this lies the incredible healing power of your spiritual connection. The second tool, though deceptively simple, can be your salvation, your shield. Stop absorbing and taking personally others' projections. In toxic relationships, in unhealthy environments, you hear the same hurtful words again and again. You demand too much. You're not good enough. You're selfish. You've changed so much. Remember, none of these statements have anything to do with you. They are not real. In truth, what they say to you is merely a reflection, a painful mirror of their own inner conflicts, of what they stubbornly refuse to confront deep within their soul. This is Jung's classic concept of the shadow, those rejected, unwanted parts of our psyche that we unconsciously project onto others. When they try to label you as difficult, manipulative, or overly dramatic, know this: these words speak far more loudly about their own inner chaos and turmoil than about your true essence. So, make this your daily practice. The moment someone tries to shame, invalidate, or belittle you, stop, take a deep breath, and firmly tell yourself, this is not mine. This is their own shadow. This doesn't make you perfect, but it is a firm decision. You refuse to accept blame that does not belong to you. In this lies your true sovereignty. And here's what's amazing. Once you stop absorbing their shame, it simply has nowhere to take root. It bounces off, as if from an invisible shield. You become invulnerable. And here is the third tool, perhaps the most challenging, especially if you still live side by side with those who cause you pain. Remember, you are not obligated to grant unlimited access to your life to anyone who seeks to extinguish your inner light. Distance is not a sign of disrespect. Setting boundaries is not betrayal. You have every right to love someone and yet sacredly protect your inner peace. You are allowed to care and simultaneously firmly say no. You are allowed to grieve for the family you wish to have and simultaneously build the life you truly deserve. If you have the opportunity to break toxic relationships, do so with self-love and without a shadow of guilt. But if leaving is not yet possible, create islands of spiritual safety for yourself, reliable sanctuaries for your soul. Spend time with those who share your values and understand you. Let it be just an online community, a wise mentor, or a single friend who sees and accepts the real you. Seek people who uplift your energy and inspire you, rather than mercilessly draining it. Your path to healing is not meant for solitude. The deeper you immerse yourself in the company of those who see and reflect your true essence, rather than just the echoes of your wounds, the faster and more powerfully your inner light will ignite. Your immersion in a toxic environment was no accident. You were there because your soul possessed an incredible strength, the ability to alchemize the deepest pain into meaningful purpose, and that is precisely what you are doing now. These inner tools are not just beautiful words or abstract ideas. They are vital equipment, gifted to your soul for survival and flourishing. They serve as your anchor, holding you in a reality that extends far beyond the chaos. In this true reality, your worth is undeniable, your capacity to love is not weaponized against you, and your voice rings loud and clear, never to be silenced. So, if today feels overwhelming, return to your origins, to your primordial essence. Remember the thread that connects you to the beginning. Remember who you truly are. And most importantly, you were never broken. You were merely prepared, tempered, shaped. Perhaps the universe has not yet showered you with gifts, but know this: your path is sacred, and you walk it not alone but shoulder to shoulder with millions of other souls on the same journey. Let's be honest. Sometimes the spiritual path is far from enlightenment. It can feel like a complete collapse, like falling into an abyss. There are moments when the only desire is to simply disappear, when the unbearable weight of misunderstanding, the deafening silence of loneliness, and the piercing pain of emotional exile suffocate you, draining your strength. When nothing seems to make sense, when even God remains silent, this does not mean you are broken. On the contrary, it means you are unfolding, growing. Those called the chosen often balance on the very edge of despair, for the pressure they experience is truly unbearable. But this is not weakness. This is your soul expanding, gaining power, to birth an entirely new vibration, a new frequency into this universe. Therefore, if you have ever drowned your pain in distractions, addictions, endless rumination, or dissociation, do not judge yourself harshly. That was just your nervous system desperately trying to survive. But now you are ready not just to survive, but to thrive. Let me be perfectly clear. You cannot give up. Not because you owe anyone anything, but because your presence here is an invaluable gift. Your existence right now, at this pivotal time, is no accident. You are part of a grand global wave of souls awakening to higher consciousness. And your pain was not in vain. It was preparation. You were not just healing, you were being purified. This planet is changing. Old systems are crumbling, giving way to new paradigms rising from the ashes. And the chosen ones are living templates, harbingers of what is to come. Deep within your soul lie priceless gifts: profound empathy, perceptive vision, unyielding spiritual resilience, and the purest humanity. These are called to be the light that guides others through their own twilight. But to ignite this light, you must first pass through your own darkness. Only when you shed the veil of illusions, when you stop desperately searching for love where it simply cannot be given, will your true gifts blossom in all their glory. Piercing clarity will come. You will suddenly feel the truth in every cell of your body, without the need for endless analysis. Your former weakness, sensitivity, will transform into incredible strength. You will begin to sense events before they unfold, to tune into others' emotions, like subtle radio waves, and use this heightened intuition as a reliable compass. Empathy, which once seemed a heavy emotional burden, will transform into powerful healing energy. You will learn to support others without dissolving into their suffering, maintaining your integrity. Creativity, once bound by the shackles of fear, will flow in a torrent. Words, fresh ideas, vivid images, profound healing practices, all will pour through you, like the purest water through a cleared, long-awaited channel, and, most importantly, you will stop waiting for approval or permission from outside. You will begin to live truly, authentically, and openly. This is the true manifestation of the chosenness that has always lived within you. But be vigilant. A treacherous trap lies on this path. When you have lived in survival mode for so long, pain can become hauntingly familiar, almost comforting, even deceptively safe. And then depression will slyly whisper, like a poisonous siren, "Stay small, don't stand out, hide deeper. Here in the shadows, you will be safest." Addictions, be they chains of substances, bonds of others' expectations, exhaustion from overwork, or the cold grip of numbness, whisper slyly, "You don't need to feel this now. Freeze. Escape the pain." But your presence here is not to remain frozen in numbness. You are here to feel the entire spectrum of life, and, despite everything, to rise again. You are not irrevocably broken. You are not too late for your healing. You are not exhausted beyond measure. Each time you choose to feel instead of freezing in fear, each time you decide to stay and endure rather than run away, you reclaim a priceless fragment of your own soul, step by step. Ahead of you are encounters with people whose lives will be deeply touched and transformed by your story. But before you can become a beacon for others, you must live this story fully, to its very end. Perhaps those who caused pain will never apologize. Perhaps the longed-for approval will never be voiced. Perhaps your healing will remain unnoticed or unacknowledged by those who once tried to break you. But it doesn't matter, because your liberation does not require their consent or participation. Your inner peace does not need their understanding, and your own light does not depend on their permission to shine at its fullest. You are living proof that even from the deepest darkness, entire galaxies can be born. And you are the very reason why someone else, looking at you, will one day find the strength to continue their journey. Know this: you are not falling behind. You are being led. And every trial, every obstacle that you thought was derailing you, was actually meticulously shaping you for your true purpose. So, step forward boldly. Go not just towards the finish line, but because every step you take is not just a movement, it is a true revolution. If you are reading these lines, you have already grasped the main thing. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not a prisoner of your past story. No, you are a daring author, a creator of an entirely new paradigm. Oh, chosen souls, never underestimate the colossal strength it took for you to break free from shackles, to sever chains, and yet retain the capacity to love, to trust, to create, and to shine. This strength that lives within you is truly divine. Therefore, when the world around you seems icy, and the universe indifferent, return to your primordial essence. Connect to that radiant golden umbilical cord of unconditional love that binds you to all existence. Allow it to refill every cell of your being once more. Remember, you are not alone. You are not lost. You are not just existing. You are becoming, blossoming. And know this: the universe has patiently awaited precisely who you are called to be here.